So a lot of times we encounter uh, different things. This is put out as the drum thing, right? Um, so that you don't want to hear the words, dude, you're playing too loud, right? Because normally, the drums is the culprit for that type of thing, right? Um, in any kind of situation, they're always trying to isolate, control the sound of the drums, right? So it's not too overbearing, not too much of a distraction, and those kinds of things in in the church setting. And then also taking into account um, how it's being played, what kind of venue. Is it a evening service? More full. Let's say more of a worship service kind of thing. Then you're gonna want things a little bit more amped up. Maybe specific things taking place and happening. Um, Even though the goal is always to invite the congregation to be a part of what you're doing, because we're not just performing up here, right? We want them to be a part of what's going on and happening in worship. Um, so one of the ways is the electronic set like this, right, where all the sound goes through the board and everything, and they're able to control the sound. They can make it louder, softer, whatever the case may be. The only thing that you have as a drummer then is your touch, where you could hit something soft and build it back up again just by the pressure that you're putting on these electronic drum sets. Um, but yet, if you're playing too loud and hitting it too hard, then they can just dial it down, so they can still control you. I don't personally like that. I like the acoustic set, but even in the acoustic type of situation, you'll see sometimes they'll put the drummer in a room, like him by himself, in this room closed off. And again, the same reason, so that they can isolate that sound. And then a lot of times they'll mic the drums, the individual pieces of the drums, so that they can still do it, but then they can close it within a room. Uh, the other things they do sometimes is they put a plexiglass around it as well. Okay? And all of these things are just for the simple fact of being able to make it where it's easier for the drums to blend in with everyone else, with the vocals, with the piano, with the guitar, with the percussionist who might be playing congas or something. It's all in an effort to do that so that it's not overbearing or distracting to you guys or the people that are out here, right? So whatever gift, whatever instrument that you're using for the Lord, whether it be your vocal or guitar or keyboard or anything else, believe me, you do have that capacity to be able to over embellish or get so into it, let's say. That's a nice way, right? Get so into it, right, in worship that you forget about everybody else, right? And you want to get to the point, really, where you're well rehearsed in your music, right, working with the others, that you're knowledgeable of the song, knowing the ins and outs of it. So that way, you're not having to really think about like the chords, right? The music itself, and you're actually able to minister that song, okay? And there's a difference, right? Uh, there's only a few of the songs last night that I felt that I was able to play the drums and actually minister. Not that I was leading, but in um, my giving to the Lord, right? This, playing the drums. There were so many songs that John gave me that the whole group was going to use, right, for this conference. very privileged and blessed to be able to um, uh, have the opportunity to rehearse with them, right, during the week and stuff, and then and be able to be a part of what they're doing up here, you know. Um, but there was only a few songs that I was able to minister. The reason why is because I didn't know all the songs. Okay, I didn't know all the songs. They weren't um, songs that I was familiar with. Some I was familiar with, and some that I wasn't. Um, but in saying that, my focus and my concentration then was more towards making sure I didn't screw up. You know what I mean? Making sure that I blended, right? Making sure that I didn't overpower anything. And I hope that that is how it came across, you know? And some of the other ones, you might have been able to tell that I was really into it, right? Because I knew that song. I didn't have to think about what I was going to do or how it was going to be or if it was too overpowering. I knew it would be okay, you know? And so knowing what you're playing, knowing the ins and outs of it, regardless of what your instrument is really a key factor. We want to blend well with each other. The harmonies that are taking place, there's harmonies even within the music that's taking place. What the keyboard's playing versus what the guitar's playing, those kind of things. There's people that are specifically doing things musically that are the movement part, right? And there's other people that are playing things musically that's setting the foundation, right? A lot of them are the drums and the bass, right? Setting that foundation, that rock solid boom, 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 right? And you'll feel that in the kick drum and in the bass, right? And then everything else starts to filter from that. And as you see the different instruments, drums included, there'll be variations on a theme, right? So there's a melody line, there's a progression, there's the things that you do during a verse, there's the things that you build up in a chorus, right? And then you might bring it back down in a bridge and then build it right back up again going into a chorus. Those are just elementary, just functions of music, right? And taking people, I hate to use the word emotionally, you know what I mean? Because we don't want to be governed by our emotions, right? Because they fail us, okay? However, just in doing those things, it does create something, okay? Where people then, for whatever reason, I think just because we're human, we're freer, okay, to, one, hear the Holy Spirit lead us and guide us in our worship. And like they were talked about before, you know, the song will say like, to raise your hands, and then you do that, you know. You don't have to do that, but you can do that, you know, because more than likely everybody else is going to be doing that, you know, that kind of thing. Sometimes you'll see where the congregation just be clapping. Our church is real big clappers, okay? So they can do that. It's always nice. One of our female vocalists, she'll like get them going, you know, and everything. And then my wife, I can count on her in the congregation to be there too, to make sure everybody's on the right thing, you know. I think it was it LeVay that said that they don't allow tambourines because it's just not good? Or was it, oh no, it was Bob Scott, right? Bob Scott from Orville or Paradise. I just thought that was funny because they don't allow tambourines, you know. But that's something that that is part of the percussionist, you know, that they'll go ahead and do. Now, me personally, I allow the worship team to kind of It's their gift, right, that they're giving to the Lord. The blessing is we get to partake of that, right? We get to be blessed by that. So they're allowed to do what they believe is good in that song. Every now and then, there's certain things, specific things that I'll like. I need to have that right here. I need you to come in right here on that. Or, I need the percussionist to play that little chime at the end of this, section here to bring on the next one. There's certain things that you just want to have, need to have. But for the most part, if it sounds good and it doesn't seem like a distraction, it doesn't clash, it complements everything that's going on, then you probably won't hear from me. You know what I mean? I won't. It'll be like, it's all good. It's fine. So is there any questions that you guys have experienced or just have a question on as far as, the drums or any other instrument or anything like that in worship? Pertaining to either being too loud or too soft or the blending factor of it, or anything. Did I throw you guys off with a question? It's like, wait a minute. He's not supposed to be asking us questions. So, like last time, I was able to play the guitar and had somebody play the drums to show what it looked like, to be overpowering, okay, and what it looked like to just really blend well with the song it was being played, okay. We don't really have that now, so but I've only used like 25 minutes, so we got like 20 more minutes. Who's going to play the drums? Oh, you want to play the guitar? All right, that's cool. Yeah, that's good. Like sometimes, I don't know about you guys, I know we, early on, because I play the saxophone, okay? I started playing the saxophone when I was like 10 years old. And so a lot of times I'll be playing the drums, and then usually after the hymn, maybe some of the slower songs, and we'll go through it a few times, and then just allow the congregation to just kind of, go before the Lord. And during that time, I would play the saxophone, okay, and then put it down and come back into the drums and the vocals and go that route. So you can tie all those things together in different ways, where, especially like on the evening service, if you wanted to have more of a time with the Lord, in prayer, and just be able to do things instrumentally like that, it'd be good to do it.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
I've been to several churches, and some churches are just overpowered. Just like, I wear hearing aids to the point where I have to turn them off. They're just so loud.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it seems like both my wife and I think of it as they're entertaining more than they're worshiping.
Uh-huh.
And it kind of blows and it's kind of, it's not going to God. Is what
Right,
I'm
right.
saying. So it's just like music should be in tune.
Yeah.
Or some of these churches are just so loud. The drums and the guitar. I mean, they put the drum in, like Calvary Chapel over there, a little country church. And they put the drums inside of a glass fixture, and it's still overpowering.
Yeah.
It's just,
They're still controlling the sound inside, so they're choosing to, because the sound guy has all that control, right? Again, keeping in mind, when you went and visited, what venue was it? Was it a Sunday morning? Was it an evening service? those will be louder. As sound-wise goes, all right? One of the things that we battle up here is going to the monitor system, okay, is a good thing just because it's less sound up here that's going off the wall and coming back to you, right? You have those speakers here, but now you have less sound from monitors hitting that wall and coming back to you, which is more sound, right? So the monitor sound is isolated just to us as individuals because it's in our ears, right? So now, the other thing we battle is just the fact that we're musicians, okay? So, I mean, that's the truth of it, okay? Everybody wants to hear themselves, okay? And as a result, hey, can you bump me up just a notch, you know? Oh, I need a little bit more, okay? And then, oh, wait a minute, now the guitar needs a little bit more, you know? Now the keyboard needs a little bit more. Next thing you know, we're up here, and we're not functioning within unity, okay? If you look on the soundboard, there's a 5, a U, and another 5, and you really want to try to function within that unity spectrum, if you can, right? And what we've noticed is the mains will be good in the unity, but the monitors will continue to rise. And so once it gets too loud, you start noticing that. If you have a monitor system out here, like a traditional one with speakers and stuff, it starts to overpower the mains that are going out and doing the sound. So really, the majority of your sound you know, it's just a normal function of it because that's how we should run. Even those that are followers of Christ.
So in the vein of the monitoring system, which one do you think are better? The ones that sit there in front of you, or the ones that like putting with monitors in their ears, that have the earpieces in their ears, and they're monitoring like that? Which one is better for controlling it so that the musicians hear themselves enough, but they're not really sitting in the crowd somehow?
The ones in your ears.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
Even better than, because they have some that are low down,
Yeah.
correct, and then they have some that are on mid stand, of course, they,
Yeah.
so the ones in the ear are the best.
They're better, but some people, especially like vocalists, sometimes have a hard time hearing the harmonies. And plus, they're trying to blend with, the instrumentation too. So sometimes for them, it's a better mix to have a small, like you guys have the spot monitors, right? Something small like that, because it's only going to go here. It's usually a personal type deal, right? So it really doesn't reflect back from the wall and stuff like that, because it hits you and it gets absorbed.
So actually, for the instrumentalists, the ones for the ears are better, and the ones for the vocalists, the small ones are better for them,
Well,
because they can do what the album as well as.
yeah, well, some of the vocalists can operate that way within the technique. You'll
Yeah,
notice,
like some of them take one.
so that they can hear the yeah, that's why. That's exactly right. So, good question, but, that's a constant battle though for the sound. That's a constant battle for the sound. The acoustics of the room play a part in it, and it really comes down to the sound guy. The atomic, that's what it comes down to. It's their job to make it good out there. Okay? And if there's something up here that's battling that, then they need to cut this out so that they can continue to do what their job is and really make good up there. Right? So those are just the elements that they like to do. you know? And I'm like going, where'd you guys go? You know, but it just, again, and the funny thing is that the worship team does the same thing. They'll stop too. I'm like looking at them like, you know. So I was like, dude, come on, man. Keep on singing. Just because I stop don't mean you just stop. I know, but the nice thing about that, the positive part of that is they're just going where I'm going. You know what I mean? If I stop singing, they're thinking, oh, you want to stop it. Maybe he's going to pray. You know, I don't know. But those are just some of the things that I deal with leading from the drum set. Okay? So sometimes I have to simplify. Um, like you heard last night, that one where, and I'd love to play that song at our church. I really would, fill this place. Um, I honestly don't know if I can do it and sing it at the same time. So, in order to do that song, I'll probably, I hope not, but I probably have to um, do a variation of that. That song. I'm playing an upbeat, downbeat, you know, and I'm supposed to sing at the same time. It's difficult. It's difficult. But it can be done, you know. It's just a variation maybe, and I think I'll probably be able to do it. And again, it comes with practice. It comes with practice. I know that there was a song that I was doing, I think Big Daddy used Joyful, or Joyfully. And I would start on the hi-hat, and then I would go on from here. And if I ever lost it, then we were done. Then we were